good metal amps don't need an overdrive, and other fallacies coming up next. Whenever I put out an amplifier video, and if it's high gain at all, if I do any sort of high gain metal tones and it's touted as a modern high gain amplifier, inevitably I will see the comments from the small yet very vocal group saying things like, real metal amp shouldn't need an overdrive pedal, this sucks. I'm not paying all that money just to have to plug an overdrive into this to get my metal tones. Back to my 5150. There are always a group of people begging on the usage of overdrive pedals, boosts, into an amplifier to get a modern high gain guitar sound. There seems to be a lot of people, or at least seemingly a lot of vocal people, that seem to think that you should be able to plug in to a modern tube amplifier and have it sound like $1 gazillion or your Axe effects. Now, before we go any further, let's talk about what boosting is and what it achieves and why it's such a popular thing to do in the high gain guitar tone community. Now, when you plug in your guitar to your amplifier without a pedal, you can only go as loud as your volume knob will allow. Well, when you use something like an overdrive pedal in front of an already dirty amplifier, for example, let's say the Soldano. I know people are gonna be like, you shouldn't have to use an overdrive with that. Well, I can, and sometimes I do want to, but sometimes I don't want to. Or this Marshall Plexi right next to me. If I use an overdrive pedal, I am, in theory, raising the volume of my guitar and making it, the volume go to 20. And I'm also sculpting some of the EQ, and I'm cleaning up some of the top end depending on what kind of overdrive pedal or clean boost I am using. And so I will therefore get the benefits of that pedal when I go to play and strum my beautiful, heavily distorted low E chord. Also, it may give me a more immediate feel, which is what a lot of metal players like in a guitar. Now, another misconception is a boost is used to add gain to an amplifier, and that's actually not true. While it does seemingly add gain, what you're doing is increasing the proverbial water pressure in the hose, and a byproduct of that is seemingly more gain. So on a PV5150, for example, you would turn the gain down in order to not overcompensate in the gain department. But the gain part is not the reason why people use overdrive pedals. So why is this expectation ridiculous and dumb, in my opinion? Well, these are tube amplifiers. These are analog circuits, and when they are designed and made, the manufacturers have to decide how they sound, and they can't possibly account for everyone's guitar tuning, pickup output, etc., etc. So to expect any high gain amplifier to not benefit from an overdrive is just ridiculous. It's redonkulous. Now, of course, there are a few high gain metal amplifiers that do not really require a boost. Off the top of my head, an EVH 5153, any of them don't really need a boost, although I think they do sound better when you do use one in moderation, although they really don't need one. Soldano SLO 100 doesn't really need one when I'm jamming with my band, but if I want to get super, super heavy and really bring out the attack of my baritone guitar, I'll use an overdrive. But for me personally, an overdrive pedal gives me a modified flavor of what I already have going. And not every overdrive pedal is created equal. We have, maybe I want a tube screamer. Maybe I want a Mr. Sparkle Drive. Maybe I want a full tone, no, not you. But either way, overdrive pedals are like the tires on your car. So to expect to get a car and then be like, does it need tires? Because I should be able to drive a car without tires is dumb. That's silly. Although I get that if you're spending, the Soldano is $4,000, you shouldn't need to get an overdrive pedal. However, do your research and know what you're buying ahead of time. Don't just buy a $4,000 amplifier willy-nilly and go, oh my gosh, it needs an overdrive pedal. I had no idea. Also, if you can afford a $4,000 amplifier, chances are you can afford a $30 overdrive, because a good overdrive is 30 bucks on Amazon. Link below in the description. But at the end of the day, I don't know if I would want an amplifier that is just cranked and turned to 10 and is super crazy tight at all times. I want versatility, and I want an amp to be able to do and be whatever I want it or need it to be in that particular playing situation that I am in. And that is why I don't think any amplifier should ever not need an overdrive. I like amps that play well and utilize overdrives well. That's a good thing if it takes well to an overdrive pedal. I like pedals. Anyways, ranty McRant face over. This has been another Beer Fells. I thought I would get that off my chest, but stop saying, a good metal guitar amp doesn't need an overdrive. Yes, it does. Any good metal guitar amp needs an overdrive pedal. Reference every good metal amp ever made. Every amp can benefit from an overdrive pedal. With that, fluff out. If you enjoyed the video that you just watched, please consider subscribing. It helps me, help you, and then in turn you get more stuff to watch. And also, I have all sorts of stuff down in the description of this video. Sweetwater giveaway stuff, there's all sorts of links to all sorts of things, so consider checking that out as well if you're gonna hang. But if you don't hang, all good. I still love you.